Hello and welcome to the Learn It webinar series. This webinar is on Windows 10 and I am Kara Clifford here in San Francisco, excited to share some new features or some features that I've really found to be very beneficial in Windows 10. So please take this time to subscribe to our channel. I look forward to hearing your feedback and having you leave comments so we can always make these webinars even better. So we're going to cover a few things today. Specifically in Windows 10, we're going to cover the window key. The window key is a very useful feature within a Windows 10, and we're going to go over some great little keyboard shortcuts. In addition, we're going to talk about the Action Center, Cortana, and last but not least, multiple desktops. So thank you again for joining us, and let's go ahead and get started. Immediately, the window key, if I press the window key, it is going to launch my start menu. My start menu giving me all of the different applications that I have. Now, I mentioned this in previous training, but you can resize the start menu by clicking and dragging. It's going to show you a list of all of the recently used applications, some of them being live feeds. You can go ahead and click on those and change those if you need to. But really, that window key puts you directly into search mode. So you can immediately start typing for an application or for Chrome or your Paint, whatever it is you happen to be searching for or looking for on your machine. The window key is very valuable when you have to step away from your computer. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is, but the window key and the L key, will lock your computer. So you should be locking your computer when you get up and walk away, and key and the L key together, a combination of those two, will lock your screen, making it locked and secure if you need to go to lunch or if you're using a shared computer and you don't want someone to see what you're working on. So those are just two window key shortcuts, and I'm going to add a bunch more as we go into Cortana, the Action Center, and our multiple desktops, because I have a lot of great window key shortcuts for those different portions. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Action Center right now with a combination of the window key and the A. The window key and the A will open up the Action Center pane on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see here that I have a number of different tools. This is where I can go to set up my Wi-Fi. And by default, if I collapse the Action Center, I'll just be left with a few different settings. Now, you can see that I don't have any new notifications, but as I start to add apps, as I start to add information, I'll get lots of updates there. I'll get updates about security, updates about using the different devices that we have, whatever it may be, you'll be notified in this Action Center. Now, I want to show you some great ways to customize the Action Center. So I'm going to go into those settings right now using that window key and the A, so window key and A, and here I can go directly into my settings. Under the system settings, I can go to my notifications and actions, and here is where I can customize those quick actions. So I have 4 default. If you remember, this is what I had when I collapsed. So these are the 4 default settings. Now, it's not very intuitive, but if you click on these boxes right here, you can actually choose what is there. So if I want brightness to be one of my quick actions, I can click on it and add brightness, or I can switch this to battery saver or VPN. I have a number of different options here to customize my action-centered, collapsible 4 different options. So again, don't think you're just limited to what's available. Go into the settings to customize those by going to into the system and into the notification and actions. So the Action Center is very valuable, and I will tell you, I started downloading on my own personal machine. This isn't my personal machine, but on my own personal machine, I started downloading a bunch of apps, things like Facebook. And I get a lot of notifications from Facebook every time someone does something, and it kind of gets frustrating. And I'll have the Action Center full of all of those different buttons. So here in the Action Center, rather than having a long list of Facebook apps, I can go into my notifications and actions, and if I scroll down, I can tell it what apps send me notifications. So if you keep getting bombarded with notifications on things that you don't care about, you can go from this same area, the same place that you customized these action buttons. Just scroll down a little bit further and you can turn the notifications on and off for the different apps that you receive. The Action Center is a very useful part of Windows 10, and I think it's one of the best features. It made it a lot easier to get to the portions of your computer that you care about, the stuff that you need to set up. In addition, I want to go ahead and talk about multiple desktops. Now, this is a big buzz with the Windows 10 being able to have multiple desktops. And before I show it to you, I just want you guys to think about why would you want to have multiple desktops? Well, here at Learn It, we teach classes on productivity and time management. And one thing that's really important is always kind of eliminating distractions so you can focus on the work at hand. One option is to create multiple desktops with just the projects that you really want to focus on. So I'm going to go into these multiple desktops right now. Down from my taskbar, I have this icon and it opens up Task View. There's actually a window key shortcut for Task View as well. It's a combination of the window key and the tab. So if I click window key and tab, it opens up my Task View. And down at the bottom right-hand corner of my Task View, I have the option to create additional desktops. If I select New Desktop, I'm now brought into this secondary desktop mode, where I can open up the projects and documents for a particular something that I want to focus on. So I'm going to go ahead and move back to my other desktop using a combination of the window key, the control key, and the left or right arrow, depending on how many desktops I have open. So if I do a combination of the window key and control key, it moves me into that original desktop where I'm brought back to this screen here. So again, those window key shortcuts keep coming in handy in addition to tools like that additional desktop. So I like to have a desktop for my personal stuff, for things like Facebook or maybe Netflix that I'm watching, and then desktops for individual projects that I'm working on, especially things that I want to focus on and avoid distractions from, so I don't have all those notifications popping up. The last topic that I want to go into during our time together today is Cortana. Cortana is our personal assistant available to us in Windows 10, and a lot of us have used things like Siri to help search the internet or remind us of times, remind us of appointments on our calendar. I learned a couple new things today. I was actually at a Windows 10 event at the Microsoft campus in Mountain View, California, and one of the speakers showed me a cool way to use Cortana, and it was something that I hadn't done before, and it involves the Edge browser. So I'm going to open up the Edge browser here, and I have a bunch of different documents, and you can see I went to Google. Don't tell Microsoft I went to Google, but here I am on a Microsoft Windows 10 page, and I did a search for Windows 10. It brought me to this page. And let's see, I want a little bit more information on Windows 10. Well, I highlighted this section of text, any section of text within the Edge browser. And if I right-click over the top, I get the option to ask Cortana. When I ask Cortana, it opens up a pane on the right-hand side of my screen. And here I get a general information about Windows 10 and its release date. If I scroll down, I get reviews. You can see that it just may be everything that Windows 8 should have been. So far, really positive reviews on Windows 10. And below that, we get all the specifications, features, multiple desktop, the Edge browser, all those things that we're talking about right now. So using Cortana isn't just about speaking to Cortana. I think a lot of us are, not in a hurry to start talking to our, technology, but it really does come in handy in a number of different ways to use Cortana to explain things. So if I go in and I search for something else, whether it's someone's name, some information. If I go in and find some new product, maybe I want to see some, top stories, or go to CNN.com, whatever it may be that I'm searching for, and I see, terrible stuff, and I see a name or a word, and I don't know what that means, I can go ahead and I can scroll through this and highlight a section of text and go directly to that information in Cortana. So again, remember, it's just a matter of highlighting the information and right-clicking over the top and choosing Ask Cortana. So what does tech mean? What do I want to know about the space station? I can highlight this information, and it will give me that option to ask Cortana. Sorry, my internet's going slow, and it's causing a little bit of problem. So I want to go into a couple other things that I've been really happy about with Cortana, and the Edge browser and Cortana, and that's the ability to mark up a page. Along the top of my screen right now, we have the ability to make a web note. If I want to highlight or mark up a section of a document, maybe I really like this portion here and I want to share this with someone on my team, this glowing tree, or maybe some Samsung information, whatever it may be, I can use this to mark up the document. And then once it's marked up, I have this share button right here. When I click share, it opens up a pane on the right, and I can mail this, I can post it directly to Facebook, or I can send it to OneNote as if I'm working on a project. So Cortana and the Edge browser have a lot of new features, and they're really helpful. I want to just say one more window key shortcut, and that is to launch Cortana, use window key and the C. So if I put in window key and the C, you can see that it's typing out everything that I say. So there's a lot of great features in Windows 10, and the more I learn, the more I play around with it, the more I use it, the more I really think that it's a very, very useful operating system. And I'm excited that we're just going to be constantly getting new updates. No longer are we going to have to wait for years and years to have updates rolled out. It's going to happen automatically, and it's going to be a huge benefit to, I think, all my Windows users. So again, practice those window key shortcuts. There's tons of them available. Again, use that window key in combination with the C to open up Cortana. Use the window key and the D to show the desktop of your computer. And try out as many other combinations of the window key and keys that you can think of. Thank you guys for joining us.
We have a question.
Oh, looks like we have a question. Yay.
Feel free to leave a comment.
Yeah, please feel free. If you are watching this live stream, please feel free to leave comments even after the live streaming's over, and we'll always do our best to reply to those. So what's our comment?
What is the main difference between Windows 7 and Windows 10?
So someone just asked, if you guys didn't hear, what the main difference between Windows 7 and Windows 10 is. As far as a main difference, it's hard to say just one. I would think probably the biggest, maybe it's because it's open on my computer right now, maybe the biggest difference is being that Edge browser being available in Windows 10. But Cortana, the Action Center, all the things that I covered today are really one of those things that sets it apart. So there's so many new features within Windows 7. I think what's best about Windows 10 is that it's similar enough to Windows 7 that people that are making that switch are not going to have that huge learning curve that they seem to have with Windows 8 and Windows 8.1. So I think that's a really good question, and I think my answer to that, the main difference, is that the new features are so valuable, but the ease of use is just as easy as using Windows 7. So you're not going to, again, have that big challenge. Now, I recommend taking a Windows 10 class because there's so many great things, and we're just scratching the surface here. So I highly recommend doing more research, signing up at a class for Learn It, attending more of these webinars, because again, there's so many new features. But for those of you that are debating whether or not you should upgrade, I highly recommend it. I think you'll be really happy with it. So thank you for that question. And thank you guys for joining me. Please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. We appreciate your support, your comments, and your feedback. And check out learnit.com for more information on upcoming webinars and other classes that we offer here on Microsoft and more.